Radio Rahim at Dallas Cowboys Stadium in Texas with Robert Garcia. Boy, did we talk about this fight while Mikey was thinking about it, while you guys were debating about it, when you didn't think it was going to happen, then when we realized it did. I feel like this has been a really long journey emotionally for both of us. Nobody knew until it was signed that this was really going to happen, and here we are standing just a few days away from these guys entering the ring. Talk to me about how you feel when Mikey first told you that he wanted this fight, compared to how you feel on this day.
Look, when we were watching the Peterson fight against Spence, Mikey got up after the fight and says, "Look, I'm gonna go after this guy. That's the one I want to fight." And he wanted the fight to be before the end of last year, by December. But obviously, because of the negotiations, whatever, it took a few months later. But he wanted it. And we told him, at first we thought he was joking. Come on, that's a welterweight. You're fighting a lightweight. So what are you talking about? He's like, no, that's the fight I want. That's the fight I'm gonna take, and I want it for this year. He pushed for it. We first obviously told him, there's other fights, other big fights we could take. Eventually, one day, move up to welterweight. But when the time is right, maybe the right opponent. But he chose this fight, and now that we have the fight, now that I've been training and doing my homework as a trainer, I know why he took it, and now I'm very confident too.
The punching power that Spence holds is not debatable. Mikey, as he's been saying for weeks, hey, it's not all about power. There's a lot of other aspects of boxing. Anybody who's in boxing knows that that's true. But the danger is real. The kind of punishment a smaller guy can take from a heavy hitter, regardless of his skill level, Mikey's, no matter how skilled he is, taking a hard shot from a bigger guy is a hard shot from a bigger guy. That has to concern you.
Oh, definitely. Look, not only in this fight, but in every single fight that Mikey takes. Obviously, a fighter that gets hit and gets hurt, obviously, it's something that we don't want to see in our fighters. But Mikey's very smart. He's prepared for that. We're ready for that too. If Errol Spence lands the good shot, the hard shots, I don't think it's gonna be that easy for him to hurt Mikey. Mikey's prepared for that. You don't only have to prepare physically, but mentally ready. We have to be ready for that too. And Mikey's ready.
A lot of times we see fighters that grow up with their fathers in their corner. That's not all that unusual, but you being his brother, it's really noticeable that how close you are. It's almost like the same thing, maybe even closer because you're brothers and not father and son. Are you at all concerned that if this fight is a war, which it might have to be for Mikey to win it, that you'll be looking to protect him, maybe more than a trainer who's not related to him, who doesn't love him like you do? Are you at all thinking about, like, it may be up to you to throw in the towel?
Look, that hasn't ever even come through my mind. I also visualize the fight little by little, round by round, little by little, and I see, Mikey's just very smart. Mikey's so smart that, I have so much confidence that he's going to pull off the fight. He's going to pull off the win. I'm also the trainer that is there to protect my fighters, not only with Mikey, but with every one of my other fighters. If they're getting hurt, and if I see that the fight needs to be stopped, I will stop it, just like I've done it before with other fighters. I'm there to protect my fighters and for them to go home and enjoy the families and be able to get back in the ring another day.
It's not often a fighter takes on a challenge like this, what Mikey's done, not just two weight divisions, which is a challenge unto itself, but then one of the most dangerous, if not the most dangerous guy in that division. He says it's because he sees something, which makes everybody speculate as what that could be. Now, you say as a trainer, you've been studying, and now you know why he took the fight. Do you know what he sees? Did you see something?
Look, there's not only one thing, seeing the fights and working as a trainer. Mikey seen what he's seen as a fighter that wants to fight Errol Spence. I seen it as a trainer, as doing my work, doing my homework, studying fights, seeing round by round, from his championship fight when he became champion, his last fight, which was only one round, but in every fight, there's little things that I could catch. And, other people, other friends, reporters have told me about, did you guys see this fight, and did you see this, did you see that? Yeah, now that people are watching the fight and watching Errol Spence videos to see if they could maybe see what Mikey sees, a lot of them have been right. A lot of them are telling me things that are right, and that's that's one thing that we got to take advantage of.
Obviously Mikey has a mind of his own. You guys try to convince him against this fight. Let's say that he does win this fight. I think no one can argue that that's immortality on its face. Immediately, Mikey will be a guy that will be a legend in the sport, no question.
Definitely.
What do you do then?
Look, there's great champions at welterweight. It's not like Errol Spence is the only one. I would probably say he's probably one of the best. But you also have Thurman, you also have Porter, you have Pacquiao. We also have Crawford, who might be the hardest one to make because of the promotion. But there's so many. We could have 2 or 3 years of nothing but great welterweight fights. I don't see why there won't be huge fights after that.
So everybody you mentioned is a welterweight.
Exactly.
So you imagine him campaigning there. If he wins the title, this is a place where you might live for a while.
I would, knowing Mike, I wouldn't be surprised if he challenges himself to maybe challenge one of the champions at 154. Honestly,
maybe he wants Anthony Joshua next.
Yeah, that's just the way Mike is. And maybe one by one, Porter, Thurman, Pacquiao, they're all there. They're all huge fights, man. They're all going to be great fights that the fans are going to love, and that's what Mikey wants. He wants to fight the best.
Well, I don't know if he can ever get back down to 35.
No, I don't think so.
Because there's still all that talk about Lomachenko, but with him jumping weight divisions like this, you think that, like you say, you don't think he's down to 35. It doesn't look like Lomachenko's looking to be at 40 anytime soon. Is that fight just off the table at this point?
Look, we knew that fight wasn't going to happen anytime soon. Bob Arum, definitely would want it. Lomachenko wants it because I talked to him, his manager, his team. They're good friends of mine, and he would love the fight, but at 35, but that fight wasn't going to happen anytime soon. We all know that. So Mikey didn't want to wait around for that fight. Mikey wants to fight the best fights out there, and if the fight against Lomachenko was not even any time soon to happen, then Mikey looked for the next biggest fight out there, and it's Errol Spence.
Well, I hope at one point, whenever you decide to hang up the mitts, which shouldn't be for many, many years, you're sitting ringside with a microphone, because half the comments in this section are always about your analysis. So I can't let you off of this camera without getting your opinion on some upcoming fights, some other big fights that people are looking forward to. For instance, we're looking right down the barrel of Terrence Crawford and Amir Khan. A lot of people thought this would be a Crawford-Spence possible huge matchup this year. As happy as they are with this fight, Crawford's fighting Khan instead. Who do you think wins that fight? And, does Khan really have a shot?
Look, I've talked to Crawford many times, and obviously he's another one that would love to fight Mikey, and we talk about it. But, Crawford's with Bob Arum. Bob Arum has his next 4 fights lined up already, so there's nothing he could do. And he's happy. He's getting paid. He makes really good money, so he's happy there. He's happy with what Bob Arum is doing with him, which is a great job. They're keeping him winning, and he's going to continue doing that for another 2-3 years because his opponents are lined up that Bob Arum could make. Against I'm out of his mind.
Amir Khan?
Amir Khan is fast and strong, but at this point, I think Crawford wins by knockout.
Now, what about Anthony Joshua's first fight in America? He's fighting Big Baby Miller. Do you give Miller a shot, and do you think Joshua can dominate in America like he's done in the UK?
Look, I like Baby Miller because I actually met him, and he's a fun guy. He's a funny guy and everything, but I think Joshua's just too much for him. Joshua is probably the best heavyweight in the world right now, and I think Joshua wins by knockout.
You say Joshua's the best heavyweight in the world right now. There's probably at least 2 other guys that would really like to make an argument about it, and that's Wilder and Fury. We saw what happened in the first fight. I'm curious, I haven't got to talk to you, who you think should have won that fight if it wasn't a draw, and do you think either one of those guys can beat Joshua?
Look, those 2 are probably the top 3. So anything could happen in boxing. They could beat Joshua, but at this point, I just think Anthony Joshua is the best heavyweight in the world.
Triple G just signed with DAZN. Canelo's already got his fight lined up for Cinco de Mayo weekend with Danny Jacobs. Danny Jacobs gave Triple G a hell of a fight. People are still arguing about whether Canelo won both fights or if he should have got a draw in the first. Where do you think that fight shakes out on May 4th? against Jacobs and Canelo?
I think it's a great fight, man. Jacobs is a very smart fighter. He fights very smart. He fought Triple G very smart, and a lot of people thought he pulled it off. You know, it was close, but a lot of people thought he pulled it off. Canelo fought with Triple G twice, and they were both very close. I think he won the last one, but it was still a very, very close fight. I still think Canelo's youth and power is enough to dominate Jacobs.
And lastly, we just come off the Porter fight against Ugas. Surprised a lot of people. That was a really close fight, and a lot of people feel like Ugas won. How did you feel watching that fight?
Look, I was there actually, so I didn't get to see it at that moment, but then I seen it on TV the next day, and it depends on who you ask. I think Porter had more movement and threw more punches, but I also see Ugas landed the better punches. I think Ugas landed the better punches, but it was less than Porter. So I think that decision could have gone either way, and I don't want to argue with the decision going to Porter, because he did throw more punches. He was a little more active, but I like, me personally, I like Ugas punches that he landed better than what Porter landed, me personally, but I don't argue the decision.
A lot of people have talked about the Garcia clan. The name Garcia in boxing has been around a long time. You guys are a fighting family. If Mikey's able to pull this off Saturday night, what's his place in the family? Does he get the big piece of chicken at Thanksgiving, or a big piece of chicken, or a big piece of turkey, and sit at the head of the table from now on?
Look, it's going to be huge, not only for Mikey, but for my dad, myself, the whole family. It's just going to be huge. It's going to be, you know, we've seen the Durans, the Leonards, the Haglers, and Mikey being mentioned among those guys. It's just going to be unbelievable.
Radio Rahim with Robert Garcia here in Dallas this Saturday night. His brothers, Mikey Garcia, is taking on Errol Spence. This fight everybody's looking forward to. Always thank you for the time and the pleasure. Radio Rahim with Robert Garcia.